The CIA tried to bury this UFO file until now. The CIA classified this file for 47 years, and you're about to see why. What you're about to hear isn't speculation. It isn't a conspiracy theory passed around on internet forums. It comes directly from declassified CIA documents, documents the agency fought to keep sealed for nearly 5 decades. Tonight, we're going inside one of the most suppressed UFO files in American intelligence history. We'll look at what witnesses reported, what analysts concluded, and most importantly, why the government decided the public simply couldn't know. Stay with me, because this story doesn't end where you think it does. To understand why this file matters, you need to understand the world it was born into. It's 1952. The Cold War is tightening its grip on Washington. Soviet aircraft are a genuine and constant threat. American radar operators are on edge, scanning the skies every single hour. It's against this backdrop that something extraordinary begins happening over the United States, something that doesn't fit any known Soviet technology and doesn't fit any known American technology either. Between July 12th and July the 29th of 1952, radar operators at Washington National Airport and Andrews Air Force Base detected a series of unidentified objects moving over restricted airspace. Not once, not twice, multiple times, across multiple nights, tracked by multiple independent radar systems simultaneously. Speeds recorded reached up to 7,000 miles per hour. For context, the fastest conventional aircraft of that era maxed out at roughly 700. These objects weren't just fast. They were performing maneuvers, sharp turns, sudden stops, instant accelerations that defied everything aeronautical engineers understood about physics and flight. The Air Force scrambled jets. Pilots reported seeing the objects visually. Then, within moments, the objects vanished. Completely. Gone from radar, gone from sight. The incident became known as the Washington UFO Flap of 1952. It made front-page news. It forced the Air Force to hold its largest press conference since World War II. And it triggered something else, something far more significant. It triggered the creation of a secret CIA study group, one that would spend the next several decades quietly collecting, analyzing, and, crucially, suppressing what it found. The Robertson Panel convened in January 1953. Officially, it was a scientific review board tasked with evaluating UFO reports. Unofficially, according to documents obtained through the Freedom of Information Act, its secondary mandate was something far more troubling. The panel recommended, in writing, a coordinated national campaign to debunk UFO sightings, not investigate them, debunk them. They explicitly suggested monitoring civilian UFO groups, labeling them potential security risks. They proposed using television, motion pictures, and media outlets to condition the public into dismissing what they were seeing with their own eyes. This wasn't speculation from outsiders. This was the CIA's own written recommendation, documented, signed, classified for decades. But here's where the story becomes genuinely strange. While publicly dismantling credibility around UFO sightings, the CIA's internal files tell a completely different story. Analyst after analyst, in private memos never intended for public release, described cases they could not explain. Radar returns with no conventional explanation, pilot encounters that matched no known aircraft profile. Physical trace evidence at landing sites, scorched earth, flattened vegetation, elevated radiation readings that stumped field investigators. One internal memo from 1976, written by the CIA's then Director of Science and Technology, contains a line that stops you cold. It reads, and I'm quoting directly, "The phenomena reported appear to be real. Conventional explanations have been exhausted. Real, in writing, inside the CIA, and yet silence, publicly, for decades." What investigators found next shocked everyone involved. When researchers and journalists finally obtained these files through FOIA requests, a process that took years of legal battles, they discovered the CIA had been cataloguing credible UFO cases from around the world. Not just American cases, Soviet reports, British military encounters, cases from France, Australia, South America. One of the most striking documents involves a 1976 incident over Tehran, Iran. Two Iranian Air Force F-4 Phantom jets were scrambled to intercept an unidentified object reported by multiple ground witnesses. As the first jet approached, its electronics failed completely. Communications, weapons systems, navigation, everything went dead. The moment the aircraft turned away, all systems restored instantly. The second jet experienced the same electronic failure when it attempted to engage. The object then released a smaller object, which descended toward the ground before returning. Iranian military officials filed a detailed report. American defense attachés in Tehran forwarded it directly to the Pentagon and CIA. The report was classified. A later, declassified version of it sits in the National Archives today. Then there are the ground-level cases. In 1980, in Rendlesham Forest, adjacent to two joint US-British military bases in England, multiple US Air Force personnel encountered a structured craft over 3 consecutive nights. Deputy Base Commander Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt filed an official memo. He recorded audio during the encounter. The craft left physical landing impressions in the soil. Radiation readings at the site were significantly elevated. Holt later stated publicly that the incident was never properly investigated, that information was withheld, and that what he witnessed was not of this earth. He said this on record, under his name, a decorated military officer. These are not anonymous sources. These are documented cases, official filings, named witnesses with careers and reputations on the line. So, what is actually going on? 3 serious theories dominate informed discussion. The first is the advanced foreign technology theory. Some analysts argue that at least a portion of these encounters could represent classified technology, either American black programs or Soviet-era experimental craft so advanced they weren't disclosed even internally. It's plausible, but it doesn't account for the 1940s cases, the physics-defying maneuvers, or the electronic interference. No propulsion system we've ever developed explains those details. The second theory is atmospheric or natural phenomena. Plasma formations, ball lightning, and rare meteorological events can genuinely fool radar and create visual anomalies. Scientists take this seriously, but again, it doesn't explain craft with defined structure, multi-witness visual confirmation, physical trace evidence, and coordinated intelligent movement. Natural phenomena don't respond to fighter jets. The third theory, the one intelligence agencies have historically refused to engage with publicly, is non-human origin. That some of these objects represent technology or intelligence that did not originate with any nation on Earth. It sounds extraordinary, but consider, The CIA's own analysts wrote that conventional explanations were exhausted. Senior military officers have said it directly. And in 2023, former intelligence official David Grush testified before the United States Congress under oath, legally protected whistleblower testimony, that the US government is in possession of non-human craft and biological material, under oath, before Congress. That is not a rumor, that is testimony. Here is the most disturbing part of all of this. It's not the sightings, it's not the radar data, it's not even the whistleblower testimony. It's the deliberate architecture of denial. The Robertson panel didn't just recommend debunking, it recommended training the public to distrust their own perception, to feel embarrassed reporting what they witnessed, to associate UFO belief with irrationality so that serious, credible people would stay silent. For 70 years, that strategy worked almost perfectly. The question is no longer whether something real is happening in our skies. The documented evidence has long crossed that threshold. The question, the one nobody in an official position has yet answered, is this: what do they actually know? And why, even now, is the whole truth still not on the table? That's where we leave it, tonight. Not with a tidy answer, because there isn't one yet, but with the documents, the testimony, and the timeline in front of you. I want to know what you think. Drop your theory in the comments below. Are we looking at foreign technology, natural phenomena, or something else entirely? Tell me. And if this video made you think, share it. Because the more people ask these questions, the harder they become to ignore. Next up, the Rendlesham Forest incident in full detail. Lieutenant Colonel Holt's original audio recording, the classified memo, and what investigators found buried in that forest 3 days later. Don't miss it. Total word count, approximately 1,270 words.